Hi, everyone. Gene Nichols back with you for another edition of Community Roundup. And it's another year later, but we're just another year better, not necessarily older. But it is time for the H.N. and Francis C. Berger Foundation Desert Town Hall for 2025. And Becky Kurtz, the executive director of this great event, is here to join us and talk about it. Becky, welcome back. Great to have you here.
Thanks so much, Gene. Pleasure to be with you as always.
So mid-January is when we start, early in the new year, for the Desert Town Hall Speaker Series for 2025. And you've got some prolific and some really big-name people coming in again this year, which you guys seem to do every year.
Good. We're pretty excited about them. As you mentioned, we start already on January 16th, which is maybe about a week early for us. But we were lucky to get Dan Buettner. As you and your listeners may know, he's the expert on blue zones, so he'll be here to talk about how we can live to be 100.
In fact, they had a big article on blue zones in one of our local health newspapers recently. I believe it was that newspaper called Desert Health, and they had a whole thing about the Blue Zones project. And Dan is certainly an expert on all of those issues relating to blue zones.
Yes, and it was in the Desert Sun this week. There are a couple of communities who are going to be starting a Blue Zone initiative. So every year it happens that it's very timely for us and for our community. So we're very pleased and proud to present Dan Buettner on January 16th. If I might describe the rest of the lineup, Dan is followed on February 7th by the former Prime Minister of Canada, Stephen Harper. He was PM right before Justin Trudeau and was on the conservative side. So in light of global events, it's going to be very interesting to hear from Stephen Harper. On March 4th, we have one of your favorite authors, I think, Gene, and that's Mitch Albom. He's the author of Tuesdays with Morrie. He's very prolific. He's written many books, but he's most famous for Tuesdays with Morrie. We end the season, we always present 4 speakers, so the fourth and final for this year will be Megyn Kelly on March 31st. And she's a longtime journalist and host of the Megyn Kelly Show, which is one of the nation's most popular podcasts. I find myself listening to her every day.
So that is your lineup for 2025, and our listeners are probably saying, Becky, how do we get tickets? How does that work?
Well, I was hoping you'd ask that. The easiest way is to give our office a call, and the number here is 760-610-2852. We sell series tickets. That means all 4 speakers. You can hear all 4 of them for as low as $425. The ticket levels go up from there to dinner tickets. So you can be with us for the full evening and have dinner at the beautiful Renaissance Esmeralda Resort.
So Dan Buettner is speaking on a Thursday, January 17th, Stephen Harper on Friday, February 7th, Mitch Albom on Tuesday, March 4th, and then Megyn Kelly on Monday, March 31st. What are the starting times for these presentations, Becky?
We start at 6 p.m. The lecture starts promptly on stage. We always advise people to get there an hour early. Number one, they avoid any traffic snafu. But even better than that, we get to be on the lovely rose lawn of the Renaissance Esmeralda and enjoy a glass of wine or a cocktail, and we have music for folks. It's really quite nice. So we like to tell people that the party starts at 5 p.m.
Can folks get tickets to the series for all the speakers on your website?
No, we don't sell them on the website, but the information is at the website, including all the ticket levels and prices. But give our office a call, and we will let you know what's available in each category.
All right, info at deserttownhall.org, and you can call them at 760-610-2852. And all of this is put together. I know I keep calling it Desert Town Hall. Desert Town Hall is actually the event, and it's produced by a group called Desert Forum Incorporated. Tell us a little bit about that organization, Becky.
Oh, sure. I'm glad to. We are a 401c3 corporation, educational nonprofit. Our title sponsor, our presenting sponsor, is the H.N. and Francis C. Berger Foundation, as you correctly pointed out. We are run by a board of directors, community leaders. We're presented by a number of sponsors as well, corporate sponsors, and the City of Indian Wells.
And this speaker series coming up in 2025, what year is this?
It is our 33rd season. If I might, on a personal note, I went to the first one in 1993. That was the year, we started with the Russian journalist Vladimir Posner, and we had Great Britain's Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher on our stage. I was thrilled to be part of that first one, and then I called the next day and asked if they needed any volunteers. So fortunately for me, they did. I was a volunteer for a number of years and then added to the staff. And I've been executive director for maybe 10 years. I'd have to look that one up.
Are there still opportunities for our young, interested students in the area to participate as well, Becky?
Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Talking today is very timely because for the Youth Town Hall, which is the student part of our program, we have opportunities for what we call youth ambassadors. So the deadline for applying to be a youth ambassador is December 10th, next week. And we choose 15 students from the local 22 area high schools. They're our leaders for the night. They lead the youth part of the program. But then for each of the speakers, we invite 150 high school students. If you know a teenager, have a teenager in your family, please have them check with their school and be part of any one of the 4 programs. If the student still wanted to apply to be a youth ambassador, there's a tab on our website that includes the application online.
DesertTownHall.org is the website. Get all the information there. My guest has been Becky Kurtz, Executive Director of Desert Forum Incorporated, presenting this Desert Town Hall series for 2025. Becky, always great to catch up with you. Thanks so much. We'll get the word out.
Appreciate it, Gene. Thanks again. Have a happy holiday.
Thank you. You as well. I'm Gene Nichols. This is Community Roundup.